Welcome to another episode of the Office Hours Podcast with Professor Brad Perkins. Today, we have something that may be just a slight bit off the beaten path from some of our engineering and legal discussions. Today, we are having a discussion on personal finance. And this is a topic that comes up for me repeatedly with students as they're coming to me with like a job offer. They're coming to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave college. Do I buy a house? Do I rent an apartment? What do I do? Do I lease a car? Do I buy a car? Do I get an old one or a used one? Or what's a 401k? And is that any different than the 10K I just ran in? So the idea of personal finance is one that I think could always use embellishment and always use some explanation, and especially anyone of any age can get help and assistance with finance. With that in mind, I thought, gosh, who do I know? Do I know anybody that may be specially equipped to discuss finance with me here on the podcast? And it brought me to one of my former 241 TAs and AGC president. And hold on. You were the Klinger Award winner, correct?
Can't forget that.
No, you absolutely can't. So with that in mind, I'm going to introduce our guest on today's session, Jace Christensen. Jace, you want to give us a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Brad. We've texted and called probably once or twice a year over the last 10, 12?
Yeah, I was going to say
15 years?
15.
Yeah, 15 years.
Probably 15 years because you were...
2014, Connie. Yeah. So I was 2014 Connie, mechanical emphasis.
Right. But you started as, I probably had you in class for the first time in around 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been 15 years. Oh, gosh.
Does that make you old or me old?
That makes well, it's terrible. No, it's double. Well, it makes you old, but it's double jeopardy for me. Because if you're getting old, damn, you know what I'm saying?
It's so funny. I hated it. I got called a kid all the time when I was an intern, at Kiewit and Iowa State building FP&M. Yeah. And it's like, oh, these kids these days. And I'm like, don't call me a kid. And what do I call college students
today?
Yeah.
I know.
So I won't call you kids, I promise. That's my number one thing today.
Today is do not refer to college students as kids.
Young aspiring adults.
Young aspiring adults. It gets worse as you get older to my age. You know what I'm saying? All right, so you got to explain. So you started Iowa State here as a construction engineering student?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll give you some background. So I was actually undecided engineering my first semester. I loved math and science, was good at it. My roommate was Connie, and I was like, wow, he gets to go to football.
Who's that?
Matt Goodhue.
Oh, yeah.
So he's at White's now.
Sure.
And I'm like, wow, he gets to do fun things. Like, go see buildings, go on job site trips. I'm like, wow, that's way more fun than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Always loved playing with Legos, building things growing up. Like that was my jam. And so I'm like, oh, this makes perfect sense. I get to work with people and I get to scratch that math and science itch.
Yep.
You want me to go into all of?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I was Connie and I got super involved, Habitat for Humanity, AGC. It was a ton of fun. I traveled the world. I got to study abroad my sophomore year. Highly fun.
Where'd you go for
Scotland?
Scotland. Okay.
So for 5 months, took DivEQ over there and some other courses. So, it was amazing. Turned mechanical emphasis, I think, junior year.
Yeah.
I was like,
hey,
right. Like the general was like, concrete and steel wasn't my favorite thing. A little bit more technical.
Okay.
Took thermo, heat transfer, all the things. Signed on with Bluestone. Bluestone was my first job.
We had Tom Foldis here on the podcast just a little.
Yep.
Well, let me see here. January. Yeah. That was fun. Yeah, we had a good talk.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, Tom's great. So worked with him for a year and a half out of school. I always said I loved the people, both at Bluestone and the people I worked with. I just didn't love the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Story Construction.
Yeah,
with
I remember this.
Mike Espesette, who
Yeah.
is, they know each other. They're fraternity brothers.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so this is a common theme in most of my podcasting.
yeah.
How small of a world
Oh my gosh.
it truly is in construction in general, construction engineering specifically. It is a small world, but
Super small.
yeah.
So I went to story construction for a couple years. Actually, 1 year the first time, and then I went to flip homes.
Ah, I remember
in
this
Des Moines.
too. Yeah.
That was a year.
Yeah.
And it, yeah, right, wrong, or indifferent didn't work out.
Yeah.
Was overpromised and underdelivered.
Yeah.
It was just, we had a kid on the way. Like I needed a 401k. I needed
You need a stability.
I needed health insurance. I needed a lot of things a startup couldn't provide.
Yeah.
So went back to Story for 2 years, built Marshalltown Police and Fire as a project engineer. Amazing job, tough job, really tough job. Got back and was just like, hey, I think I just lost the love for it. Like I've always enjoyed construction and building and creating. I just wanted to do something different and impact people more directly. And that's what led me to a financial advisor career at Northwestern Mutual.
Okay, but all right. And we've never talked about this.
No, we haven't. This is good.
Yeah. I'm just dying to know, how do you just be like, walk in the door and you're like, hey, I want to be a financial advisor. And they're like, who are you and what do you know? Yeah, I took some engineering courses, and like, they're like, do you know anything about finance? How'd you answer that? It's like, well, honestly, my resume's a little light in that. I mean, what? Or was it more like, you're good with math? Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, so
maybe that's a loaded question. I don't know.
No, that's good. So the way I'll answer that is it's just certifications. Like it's a mutual vetting process. Like, can you talk to people? Can you carry a conversation?
Yeah.
Can you solve problems? Like the math has to be there, but it's not the central part of it.
Wow, because that almost sounds exactly like what we tell engineering students about construction.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is okay, the math has to be there.
Yeah.
And assuming it is.
It's a prerequisite.
What are that technical part is a given.
Yeah.
And can you communicate? Can you relate to people?
Yeah.
Can you do that type of thing?
Yeah. So it's actually, everyone always asks me that. Well, how'd you do that? How'd you do the 180? How'd you do that? How'd you do that?
And you're like, it's not so much a 180 really as it is more of a little divergence.
And my financial advisor at the time was like, hey, do you want to do what I do? And I'm like, I don't know what you do.
Okay.
In all honesty, like I had some, things, products. So we sat down and had some conversations like, oh, it is one-on-one. And it's one of the most, the conversation with clients as a financial advisor is one of the most, I'd say one of the most vulnerable professional conversations you'll have.
Oh yeah, it would be, because you can't get advice if you're not honest with where you're at. Because just like when we've talked on the phone, you're like, hey, let me give you some, financial, let me do some wealth management for you. And I'm like, because of our small business that we started, I'm like, brother, I have no wealth to manage. I'll just, my plan is to work till I'm dead, seriously. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I've learned money is so closely tied to emotions. It's not even funny.
Oh, I believe that.
It is. They're so intertwined. What your parents taught you, what they told you but didn't tell you, like directly, indirectly, what their actions said. Grandma and grandpa, what your friends had, what you had, like it. Yeah. So I was like, hey, I want to be in business for myself. Okay. I want to do my own thing. I didn't want to go open a bakery or a coffee shop or create a product.
Okay.
But the service of asking good questions, getting to know people, and helping them reach their goals financially, it was like, let's do it. Let's jump in.
Okay. All right. So really, I mean, I don't think this is a stretch for me to say, and correct me if you would you would disagree, but this is something that I have told students again and again and again. If you start the construction engineering degree, just finish it. And because sometimes along the way, students find out, I don't know if I really like construction or this or that. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Finish it. No matter, it will help you so many ways later.
Yeah.
And maybe in ways that you don't even realize. The degree is a great start.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can figure out what you want to do later, and that's just fine.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I think an engineering degree, and I'm biased. Okay, just let me say this: I'm biased, but I really think it's a good way to go. It's a really great background, and if you can do that part, if you can problem solve, got a decent ability to do math, and then ideally you also have communication skills, that will serve you well, and it doesn't matter whether you end up doing engineering or construction or none of the above and something else.
Yeah, there's a ton of that I resonate with that. Like, I tell people I engineer their financial plans.
Oh, there we go.
You know, as a cheesy tagline.
That's such a cheesy
tagline.
Cheesy.
It's like,
I love it.
I tell people that's all I got left are a receding hairline and dad jokes. That's it. So we have fun with it. Like, but I thinking back, like reflecting on my Connie degree, and Brad didn't pay me to say this. No one paid me to say this.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what this is.
It instrumental, integral, like it opens. I don't know of another degree that it opens more doors to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Really?
Did everybody hear that? I did not pay him to say that. If you're a student out there watching, did not pay him to say that, but I would agree.
Like from the communication, teamwork, and the technical side of real life problems.
Yeah.
Even going on the EGC trip or the Habitat for Humanity trip.
Habitat for Humanity trip, EGC trip.
Like those 7 days is worth 2 semesters of a class.
It's almost like you're saying that maybe there's a lot to be learned from college and some of it is in class.
Sure.
And a large part of it is the other stuff, because on this podcast I've been stressing, do the student orgs. You know, do the student orgs, do the trips, do the professional stuff, and then also do the non-professional stuff that doesn't have anything to do with your major, but it's all about networking and maybe a little bit of exercise and getting out and doing new people. You know, like here on one of the episodes just a few times ago, I had the Iowa State boxing club coach in.
Oh, wow.
Right? Oh, we had a great talk. Okay. It was so much fun.
Don't get in the ring with him.
What's that? Her.
Oh, her.
Yeah, her. Right?
Don't get in the ring with her.
Yeah, she's a 2-time national champion when she was a student.
Holy cow.
Well, I was in the boxing club when I was a student here. And you know, so we had a lot to, that's how I ended up, you know, asking her in. I was just like, I kind of wanted to catch up on the club and see what it's doing, you know. So my son joined it, you know, and I was like, oh man, I should check in with the coach.
Yeah.
Because I had never met her. So anyway, we had a great discussion, and so much
of so fun.
It was a ton of fun. But one of the things that we talked about is how good it is for, and it doesn't matter the major, you know, to get involved in those student orgs and get some experience that isn't in the classroom.
Oh my goodness. You want, get this. Like countless people of like, they knew a friend of a friend who was in a club or in a play.
Yeah.
That I've ran into now. Like, oh, did you know so-and-so who's in the marching band?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, I know him. I'm like, that was my roommate. And it's just like, it helps make it, the trust there builds tremendously.
Well, and this is something key, and I think maybe COVID kind of made us lose this interpersonal relationship thing, and it's taken a long time to repair. And I don't know if it's completely repaired yet.
Fair,
but I will say one thing I noticed post-COVID about students is there was very, very little participation in student orgs. Very little. You know, it was almost like everyone, and I do mean not just students. I'm talking everyone. We forgot how to communicate. We forgot how to have those personal relationships, and that is not healthy.
Yeah.
Personal opinion. I don't know this for a fact. I can't prove it, but this is my opinion. I think the isolation of individuals did more damage to health, both mental, physical, and society in general, than actual COVID did. It's a theory. I don't know. I can't prove it. But damn sure nobody can prove me wrong on it.
So you could have theories, but that guy at the bottom of the thread can't have
theories. Yeah, well, I talk about my theories for hour and a half at a time. So
All good. No, our boys were 3-1.
Yeah.
And they missed a year of school.
Yeah.
And again, no, this is just an observation, no opinion either way. No, it was an adjustment. Like to get back into baseball.
To
get back into preschool. And to see their growth now, it's unreal.
Yeah. Well, it's different because for me, let's call it a year and a half of COVID is a tiny slice of life.
Yeah.
For them, if you're
it's
3,
half their life.
it's half your life.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty and it's the most recent half.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal to overcome.
It'd be fascinating to see the studies and you've already heard the mental health and just the fallout. But it would be fascinating to hear and see research done after it's just a crazy time in the world.
It was
unreal.
It was absolutely crazy. You know what I think was the craziest time about it is that there was no script. There was nothing to compare it to short of the Spanish flu pandemic of
1917 or something.
Or something like that.
100 years ago.
Yeah, 100 years before that, different times. Drastically different times. So there wasn't any script to go off of.
Yeah.
So, all right. So okay. So let's get a little bit back onto the financial planning kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So now tell me about your kind of what you do now. You know.
So I'm a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual.
Okay.
And I think.
So here's the question, right? Why would I even need a financial advisor? I could buy some mutual funds. I've got a 401k from the university that I can put money in. Why do I need to hire anyone else? What's the deal? What's the service? Because if I hire someone to mow my lawn, I know I'm getting a service. I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't I just buy some index funds and call it a day?
You know what I tell people who'd ask me that?
Oh yeah. What is it? Yeah. Tell me.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should. You know what? And you know what? Doing something isn't a bad idea either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, where I would counter that is there's a difference between. There's a reason why we have engineers because we're professionals.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there's industrial contractors and commercial and residential because there are professionals doing professional things.
Yeah.
And I would say that I recognize that hiring a professional that knows the ins and outs. It's like you ever hear George Brett talk about hitting in baseball?
I'm sure I've heard it.
Right, you're like, okay, yeah, you're like, who's George Brett? Well,
no, he's the pine tar guy.
Yeah. Well,
the famous video. Yeah.
But he used to say that he was one of the best hitters of his day.
Sure.
And he was saying is that someone was asking him about how he could literally tell where the ball was going to be coming because a professional pitcher can make that ball do anything, and he's like, well, you got to understand, I can see the seams on the fastball.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying is, I mean, he's got this focus, and he's been doing this for so much, is that he can literally, as the ball's coming towards him, he's saying, yeah, I can see the seams. You talk to like a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
You talk to like at one point, and this is back when LeBron was on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah. And a new guy, well, not new. He was a veteran, but they traded for this other veteran.
Yeah.
And LeBron James is talking about how he watched film on this guy
Yeah.
so that he could figure out how he liked to get the ball passed to him.
Yeah.
Where the seams on the basketball work,
Yeah.
so that just that little split second of getting the ball at the right angle, and I'm sitting here thinking, you think about that?
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's a thing that, but that's the difference between playing pickup ball at the rec center and like doing it for millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You're a pro, you're doing it recreationally.
Yeah. So what I say to that, and that was going to be my example, is how much LeBron spends on his body.
Oh yeah,
like $2 million a year on supplements.
So
like pre and post workout
workout stuff. Yeah, he's got professionals that are telling him how to take care of his body.
Unreal. Tom Brady. I mean, the greatest of the greats have hyper-specific, hyper-trained coaches.
Yep.
So when I tell people that, when they ask me, hey, well, why you?
Mm-hmm.
One, I got to let them know that they're free to decide.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So my bias is everyone should use a financial advisor.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Everyone should hire a general contractor when they build a house. Like that.
Well, I wish I would have actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So that could.
So fair.
We could absolutely. Okay. So one of the biggest financial mistakes that I made in my life, I'm here to tell. So one of the biggest financial mistakes I made in my life, and since I'm like in my 50s, I can look back and analyze. Self-reflection is good for the soul. So if I was to go back and analyze, it was our house. It was our house remodel. One of the biggest financial mistakes. One, I did hire some people.
Yeah.
They were idiots.
Yep.
They were not. I thought I was hiring professionals. I talked to friends that had their house remodeled, and they're like, oh yeah, these guys are I know these guys, and they're local, and they're good. Oh my God, they were not. Oh Lord, they did.
Those are tough.
Yeah, and so like to this day, we remodeled that house like 20 years ago. Like I'm still paying for mistakes that we find to this day.
Yeah.
And some of them over the years have been monstrous, but it's like, it's like, what are you gonna do? Sue them?
You'll get a kick out of this.
Oh yeah.
Our house was built in the 50s, first house on the block.
Yeah.
Added on 70, probably in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
With a crawl space. They didn't dig down deep enough.
Oh my God, they did this in my house too.
Oh, get this.
Before I bought it, yeah.
And guess where the coldest spot is in the whole house? Underneath the kitchen sink when you're washing dishes, your toes ice over because the insulation is garbage.
Yeah, garbage. Yeah.
And I'm like, and then, so get this, our roof leaked twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now they didn't do ice and water shield on that whole back half of the house.
Oh my gosh. And I think you must have hired the same people I hired.
The roofer's like, yeah, we could fix it. But by the time we fixed it, half your roof's off. We just might
as well re-roof.
Do the whole roof.
Oh my gosh!
And now insurance won't pay for it, so we're in a fight.
Yeah,
so now I gotta
pay for it.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay, so think of that, but like the whole thing.
Woof.
Oofta. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. And okay, that's half of the mistake I made, and the other half was thinking things I could do myself.
Yeah,
that was stupid.
Yeah.
No, it was, and here's why. It's not like, okay, so I grew up in a family of electricians. I started wiring at age 5. I can wire.
Yeah, you know how to.
I know how to. However, what happens is I end up paying. Like I have made the house wiring way more complicated because I know what I'm doing. I've got like 8 different panels.
Mm-hmm.
Because it made sense at the time. But I'm like, who am I ever going to sell this thing to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've got stuff, partially done. Oh, I'm going to finish it. But then life happens with work, consulting, 5 kids, you're involved in church, you're involved in volunteering, for various charities and stuff. And then and then all of a sudden you're like, man, it's 20 years later. I never got back to finishing this and this and this and this, you know? So that's probably the biggest, but hiring unprofessional people to do the house was that was a huge financial mistake.
Us Connies, man, we I've framed a 2,000 square foot basement by myself on nights and weekends.
Yeah.
And I've left an outlet exposed, just dangling a junction box for 2 years in my house. And I'm like,
only 2 years?
Only 2 years.
Oh,
and
you
it's
haven't lived there long enough then. You don't have, I've got 20 years stuff that's not done.
I think it's just, it must be something to.
Oh gosh, it is. It is. And I know what it is. I know what it is. You're like working construction or talking
You're like,
about
I can
construction.
do it.
And you're like, I can do it. But now I don't have a deadline and it's mine.
Yeah.
And so if I don't care about that outlet not done, it just doesn't get done. And then before you know it, time passes and you're still not done.
Yeah. So here's and we'll see if they keep this, my people that keep me safe. But here's how I explain it to people. Like, it's a service. Like, so we're talking about value, right?
Right.
And you talk about this a lot in your, in your lectures, in your labs of like, okay, what is value? What are we paying for? What do we need? What do we want? So the value with me is when someone says, well, I can go just put it somewhere else. I'm like, okay. The question is, why you? Well, the question I have is, what happens if you don't?
Oh, what happens if you don't
talk with me or talk with anyone?
Or talk with anybody.
What happens if you, what happens if, and fill in the blank. So what I tell people is say, hey, I'm a fitness coach for your financials.
Yeah, that's a good analogy because most people get that.
And
I can work out on my own, or I could save a whole lot of time if I talk to someone that knows maybe a little bit more than I do.
Yeah. So if people, like if I put it into layman's terms, like I reveal my bias, right? So I'm a fitness coach, so I love fitness, right? I love finance. Like I geek out on everything I do. I could talk for hours and hours.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
And all the people I talk to, they don't want that. Like they do not want.
They just happy you can. They just don't necessarily want to hear it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So I tell them that.
It almost sounds like being an instructor here at Iowa State. It's like I have lots to tell, and those people are like, I don't care.
Good thing they limit.
Limit classes to an hour. That's fair.
It's not for the students. It's for the teachers.
It's for the teachers.
For the
instructors. What's funny is I remember when I took this job, and I remember thinking to myself, my God, how am I going to talk for 50 minutes at a time?
You're like, I can't fill it.
I have no idea. And now I'm literally like, if you would ask me, hey, Brad, tell me about your shoes, and you can only use 50 minutes, I'd be like, oh my God, how can I have any meaningful conversation about anything in under 50 minutes? I don't even understand.
Yeah. So this is good, right? So a fitness coach for your financials. So I tell people like, hey, the service you're paying for, right, is advice.
Yeah.
And so real quick, this is not blanket advice for everyone. No advice is given today.
Yeah, no advice.
No tax advice, no financial advice.
No legal advice.
No legal advice.
And by the way, should you need legal, tax, or engineering advice, please do not get that information off of a podcast. Thank you very much. Nothing you hear today should be assumed to be actual decent advice. This is a conversation. All right, thank you. Now that that's out of the way.
There we go.
Go ahead.
So when people ask me that, it's like, okay, well, why you? I could just go there, and a lot of times they're not going there, or they're not doing the thing that they say they should be doing. Like push-ups. I'm like, if I do 10 push-ups a day, that's a great plan. But are you doing them?
Are you really doing them? Are you really doing them?
No.
Yeah, that is a great. That is actually a great.
I have so many people who are way smarter than me, but they're like, Jace, I don't have time. I'm in the hospital. I'm running businesses. I'm buying properties. Like I don't have time to do this. I don't want to do this.
I get it.
And so like they like LeBron James. They're hyper good at what they do. They can do this, but they may not choose not to.
Oh no, and you know what? I am so guilty of this myself. I am. I really am. I mean, that's kind of human nature, and by that, what I'm saying is, you find something that you do enjoy, and I enjoy teaching. Yeah, I enjoy it way more than I ever did engineering, and I'm pretty good at engineering. I'm not bad. I know a thing or two, but after 20 years, this has been the job I've had more than anything else.
Sure.
And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I would do it. Given a choice, I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And the financial stuff is not.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I may know
Sure.
a little, not enough apparently to do it very well because, you know, you don't have any wealth on me to manage. But you know, I mean, let's be honest. If the financial stuff was all that important to me, I probably would not have chosen to be a professor at the university.
Sure.
You know, and that's fine. You know, but what I'm saying is you tend to spend your time on the things that are important to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's actually what brings me to being a professor. If you look at, you can tell this by in anyone's life. What do they spend their time on? What do they spend their money on?
Yep.
That is where the value in their life truly is, because they'll sacrifice the other things. And you know, for me, family is you know, which brought me to teaching, and I enjoy teaching because it's a whole lot like. It's the closest thing that you can get to a job to being a dad in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've got the chance to impact young adults' lives in meaningful ways. You've got advice to give, and people will roll their eyes at you all the time. It's like being a dad, right? So,
but they remember one thing from like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
that's like,
right.
oh, that's that one thing. Like my dad. This is great. Yeah. So my dad always says, "You get what you pay for."
Yeah.
Like that's his
right.
His
I like it. I like
all
that.
Time.
That's good dad advice.
Like
get what you pay for.
And it's it's true. You get what you pay for. And so when I'm meeting with clients, I tell them like, "Hey, it's cheaper going somewhere else." I'm not the cheapest guy on the block. Like,
oh my gosh!
Like,
you know how many times I've said that as an engineer?
And you know what happens?
Somewhere else. Yeah.
You know what happens is they breathe.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little,
I tell them my bias. Like, hey, if you work with me, you're like, there's fees associated with it, right? If we do financial advisory services for you, but it lets them breathe. Mm-hmm. And then we can have that vulnerable, hey, what do you really care about? Well, I care about, hey, if I die, if my wife dies. Hey, I had someone call me today like, hey, can I get life insurance on my mom? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why? She's like, well, my mom and dad don't have life insurance, and I want them to.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, like,
okay.
And so, like, having them share those deep, those feelings is huge.
Yeah. You know, one of the reasons I wanted you here, I was having this conversation with some students, and it reminded me of previous conversations I've had from years and years past. I used to do advising for one of the fraternities here on campus, and we had this great policy every week. We do a closed door session. We go down to the chapter room, and they were free to ask me anything. It was the Ask Me Anything time. And the topics that they picked were fascinating to me.
This was when you were at the fraternity?
Yeah, when I was advising, I was the faculty advisor for one of the fraternities here, and I won't say which one. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so they got to pick the topic, and my rules were it's only men of the house. In other words, you had to live there to participate. Okay. Thing 1. Thing 2, nothing's recorded.
Yeah.
All right. Thing 3, no bullshit.
Yep.
You had to be honest.
You don't want to be. You can't lie.
Yeah.
No lying.
You can't lie. No lying.
No jokes.
No jokes.
Like,
right?
let's be serious.
Let's be serious. Let's be serious and have a conversation on whatever it is.
Yeah.
You young. I'm twice your age. You ask me questions, and I promised them that whatever they asked, I would be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And oh my Lord, man, did they unload on that one? Good Lord. We had talks about religion. We had talks about women. We had in relationships. We had talks about finance. That was one. All of those, like all of the quote taboo things you don't talk about. Yeah. That's exactly what they wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
They wanted my perspective. The one on finance is the one I want to tell you about. That was a little at the time. It absolutely shocked me, and here's why. I was just like I was just blown over with the poor advice that this particular kid, or I don't want to say poor advice, the lack of advice.
Sure. That
he had. He was a junior, I want to say, and I think he was in horticulture. This is not a slam on horticulture. That's just the major he was in. It could have been any major. And so we were talking finance, and the questions came up. Well, how much can I spend on an apartment? And I'm like, well, that's not the way to ask it. And they're like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I can't tell you how much you should spend on an apartment if we don't know what's your income. And this one kid, I was like, all right, what are you going to make, you think, on average in your major? What is someone graduating with this 4-year degree? Let's assume you graduate. Let's assume you get an average paying job. What are you going to get for a salary? And he's like, I don't know. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? You have to know. You have to know. And I'm like, Iowa State keeps statistics on every major. We publish this every semester in engineering. The Engineering Career Services. You can turn right to the page where it says information for students, outcomes, salary, and intern pay database.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, here, go. I'm like showing them, go here, go here, go here. Boom. There's your major. There's the percent placed at graduation, and here's your starting salary. And he's like, well, I don't know. I never looked it up. Like, oh, okay. Well, let's just do that, And so we look it up, and I'm like, okay, so this is the yearly average that they're saying for the, I'm like, okay, now we need to know what are your fixed costs going to be before we start getting an apartment and getting a car. What are your student loan payments going to be? I'm like, do you have any loans? And this is where the honesty part, this is, you can't even have this conversation like you're saying. There's so much emotion with finance.
So much
that, I was like, you don't have to answer this, but it'd be a lot helpful if you would.
Mm-hmm.
What are your loans? How much have you taken out? I don't know, was his response. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? He goes, no, I don't have any idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, could you guess? Give me a range. Is it 10 or 20 or 20 or 30 or where are we at here?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I think by the time I'm done, it's probably going to be over 70,000, 70 to 100,000. I was like, excuse me? Okay. I'm like, what are you going to be paying on these loans for an interest rate? And trust me, if he didn't know how much he's going to make and he didn't know how much he had in loans and he was guessing on that, he had no idea on the interest rate. And I'm like, you got to know this. You don't sit here and tell me you don't. And I was like asking the rest of the group, I'm like, who's got some student loans, some non-federal one, well, I think my ones from the bank are at like 12 to 14%. I was like, shut up. You're going to be paying 12 to 14% on a student loan of $70,000 to $100,000. What is that a month? Literally blank stares. Like, oh my Lord. Here, and this is the thing that upsets me, is that no one had ever sat this kid down and gone through the math on that.
Mm-hmm.
Never analyzed. Yeah. This is the job that I'm going to have. This is what it's going to pay a month.
Yeah.
Can I even afford to take out these loans? The mindset, and I'm going to, if you'd allow me, I'm going to blame a whole lot of high school guidance counselors for this. Okay? I might get some hate mail on this. I don't know. I'm a high school guidance counselor, and I wouldn't recommend this. I'm like, yeah, some of you do. The whole, you just need to get a college education. At any cost, you need that. You need the degree. Yeah, I don't know if that's always such great advice. All right. So anyway, the point is here's where we're at, and this is kind of the target audience I might have for you to talk to.
Sure.
Is how do I even know is the starting salary reasonable? Can I buy a car, lease a car, get a used car? It's like, are you telling me I can't afford the brand new Tesla Cybertruck because I thought I had a job and I don't know. Maybe you've never heard these conversations, Jace. I don't know.
It's fascinating. So, not in meetings, but when I'm talking with people, and they're like, I hear some of that. You as their faculty advisor, had they known all those things, had they known every answer for their student loans, known every answer for their payment plan, their income, have done a budget 3 or 4 times to make sure they can afford the car that they want or the house that they want, and then be able to go back and negotiate with said employer offering the job.
Mm-hmm.
Had they known all that, would that have rendered their advisor not needing to have the job that they have?
I would probably say no.
Yeah,
right. I mean, I know your point is like, well, if you could do all that yourself, why do you even need an advisor? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna advocate strongly for, and maybe not. Maybe as a college kid, you're like, I don't have any wealth. Why would I even talk to a financial planner? That's actually fair, right? But you should talk to somebody. Somebody that's been there and done, the whole, and this is something I do a lot of. I think we did this actually, didn't we? Where you brought your offer to me. I took a look at it. And I'm like, well, did you think of this? Did you think of this?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe I misspoke. So my point was all those reasons are why I have a job.
Yeah.
They're why you have a job.
Yeah.
And so people I've had so many people, what are you selling? Like, oh, you're going to try to sell me something? Funny enough, I grew up, sales were bad.
Yeah.
Don't trust the salesman.
Don't trust the salesman.
Yeah. And guess what I do all day?
Well, you sell services, but you sell stuff.
Fair. Yeah. So I don't know if it's Greek or Roman, but to sell is to give, to serve. So selling, so I'm serving them.
That's true, because if you didn't serve your customers, you wouldn't have customers.
They wouldn't work with me if there was no value.
Right. Okay.
So all those reasons are like why I have a job, why you have a job. And it's there's always a thin layer of that. Like you got to break down the barriers before you can have a conversation with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I love my construction engineering degree.
Yeah.
Because they think I'm a finance bro.
Okay.
The Wall Street wearing the vest.
Yeah.
I'm a finance bro.
Yeah.
Turns out I'm an engineer.
Yeah, that's true. I can see that being a very disarming thing.
I took the same classes they did. I was in the same major that their boss was.
Okay.
Like I know the owners of the companies. And so going back to the construction engineering degree, that's why I love it so much is I can speak their language. Business owners, construction people, engineer, and that gives me a lot of leverage, I think.
Well, so what do
Ask me your question. Sorry.
I guess the question is, all right, the question is, so how would, here, let's just start there. How would, as a graduating student, let's say that we're talking to a room full of graduating Connies or otherwise, since mostly Connies are in my world, all right, they come to me this question all the time. Hey, I got this job offer. Is it good?
Yeah.
What's it even mean? What's an ESOP?
Yeah.
What's a 401k? What are those things? If you could kind of walk them through those things.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking to my younger self, I think I would have done myself a service had I gotten 2 or 3 or 4 job offers.
Ooh, I would agree with that strongly.
Bingo. Because that means 3 or 4 people want you, and you can only want one. I mean, you can want them all, but that gives you leverage. That gives you negotiating power. So had I told my younger self that's probably what I would think about. And then just comps, like, hey, who'd you graduate with? There's 100 people you graduated with. Ask them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like, gosh,
hey,
yeah.
What'd you get?
Students there is...
Where are we at?
You know what?
New York is different than Iowa.
Okay, but there is absolutely positively nothing wrong with 2 students comparing job offers.
Nope.
In fact, I strongly suggest it.
Yeah.
We act like it's like some super hush, what salaries are and that type of thing.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, speaking to the younger self, it's like, hey, if I can go get $15K more for the same exact job in Omaha, Nebraska than Des Moines, Iowa, or Minneapolis or Chicago, is that worth it to you? I can't answer that for you. Brad can't answer that for you.
Right. Well, that's a good point.
But you just look at comps and you look at the different, what's base pay, what's bonus up to, what's per diem. Are you in the office? Are you in the field? Are you going to be traveling? Is there a per diem associated with it? Like, I think my hope or encouragement would just be ask questions.
Well, ask questions and get these answers in writing, ideally, so that you can do a better job.
Has to be on paper.
Yeah.
You
There's
can't
one
have
thing.
it. no hand. Yeah, it has to like
nothing. Oh, yeah, this is something I tell students repeatedly. They're like, well, my boss says that, this is my starting pay, but I'll probably move up really quickly. It's like, is it written
Said
down?
every employer ever.
Said every employer ever. Okay, and that is something that students are leaving here, and when they're getting their offer letters and stuff, those are not coming from their boss. It's really coming from HR.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. That's the appropriate way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm telling them is that, one, you got to get stuff written down.
Yep.
Okay. And you got to get it broken out.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, like you said, there's base salary, and then there's bonuses. And what a student probably doesn't understand is they might say, oh yeah, our bonus this last year was 5%. That has nothing to do with what next year could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bonus, like. It's so funny, like in the business world, outside of college, I would say, literal is literal. A bonus means a bonus. It is not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed.
There are so many people that I see, oh yeah, I didn't get my bonus this year, and they're crushed. And I'm like, it's a bonus.
That's why it's called bonus.
Extra. Like it is not guaranteed, and that for example, how do I negotiate, right? Like one time I negotiated an extra week of PTO because that was important for me and my family. We were transitioning jobs at the time. And I said,
and let me throw this out. If you're listening to this, podcast and you're a student and you're like, wow, I have literally had this question tons of times. Hey, is it possible to negotiate my job offer?
Yeah.
Would they be insulted if I try to negotiate something? I'm like, I always say a couple of things. One, this is business. Everything is negotiable. Two, if they're insulted, you didn't want to work there.
Yeah.
Fair, you think?
Man, if I had someone come back and negotiate, I'm like, oh, wow. They want it.
Yeah.
It tells you something.
It tells you something
when
about
you
them.
do negotiate. And here's my thing. For me, for me to go negotiate and say, hey, I deserve this, would you be willing to offer it for me? I had to tie it to something. So for me, it was my value of the family. Back to what you were saying, like, why do you do what you do? We were having a baby, and I needed some PTO. I'm like, we need an extra week, so can I have it? Because of my values. And then at that particular company, guess what their number one value is? Or
family?
Or
work-life balance? I don't know.
Or in there, like, hey, we're a family. And so, and that speaks to alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a good decision.
Well, and you know what else you find out? You find out if that's just a saying or they believe it. Here.
Yeah, you find out real quick.
Yeah. There's a phrase I've told my boys over the years, dadisms, right? Since you're throwing them out there, I'll throw out,
They're good. You got a whole booklet by now.
Yeah, I do. Principles aren't principles until they cost you something. Is it a principle or is it just a belief? Because I can believe in the Easter Bunny. I can, and that doesn't mean it's real. But I can believe in things that aren't real. But a principle is something where you're like, you know what? This is so real. I am prepared to have it cost me something. That's true of people, and it's also true of businesses. Mm-hmm. So they had the choice. Jace Christensen says, "Hey, I need an extra week off because of family," and the business could have said, that's really just a sticker, right? You want time off for your family, and we're not feeling it. They could have. They'd be like, Jace, you just take it or leave it because this is what everybody gets.
Yeah.
And we're not playing favorites, and and you're like, okay, well then you have a choice. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely positively nothing wrong with testing a person's or a company's principles from time to time to see if they're legit or not.
Totally fair.
Right. So as a student's getting a job offer, are things negotiable? Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are. Now, the negotiating process can go in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. They might be like, we're going to negotiate on this and this and this, but not this.
Mm-hmm.
They might have their own principles and beliefs that would be like, you know what, we really got to treat everybody fair.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why we're here or we're here or we're here. You know, so what I say is be ready to negotiate and be ready to accept the outcome. And by that, what I'm saying is if you're negotiating for a starting salary as a student, and maybe you've asked for something and they just won't budge on, you need to be able to decide internally, well, is this where I walk away?
Yeah.
Because if you're not willing to walk away, you can't really negotiate. I don't think, you know.
I don't even, not that you couldn't. I don't think you would.
I don't.
Or both.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't think you would.
Like,
well. Here. So let me give you an example. So my first job out of college, I turned down like 3 times. You know, it was large engineering firm, right? And they gave me a job offer here, and I'm like, no, here. I'm looking for a salary here because Iowa State publishes it all.
Sure.
They're like, hey, I'm going into a mechanical design position. And this is, you know, what a mechanical engineer is paid. And they're like, well, yes, but you are a construction engineer by major, you know? And I'm like, yeah. Well, our scale for civil and construction is here, and it's lower than mechanical engineer. And I said, yeah, okay. But here's the deal. The job you're hiring me for is a mechanical design job. So that's where I'm at. And they're like, no, you know, we really can't do that because this is your major and this is the company policy. And I'm like, okay, well then thank you very much. I sure appreciate the offer and I'm going to have to decline. You know, I was like, okay, no. So, and then they come back. We went through this 3 times with me turning them down and then them, you know, because once again, it's like worth and value. And, you know, I thought to myself, you know what, I have more experience than the average graduating undergraduate. You know, by that point, I had already operated a nuclear power plant. You know, I was like, here's where I think, and you know, HR has their sliding scale, and this is you, Brad. And I'm like, no. And, you know, so for I think for negotiating, you have to have that line in the sand where you're like, okay, you know, if I can't go past this, then maybe this just doesn't work out and I keep looking. Back to what you said earlier about having multiple job offers.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And this is why getting multiple job offers is so good. I get to compare them. I get to compare salary. I get to compare health benefits and compensation and who offers a bonus. Which company is an employee stock option? Or is it family owned? You know, you find all these things out.
Yeah.
So multiple job offers, I think, like the first thing that I would suggest to the younger self, if that's what we're doing, is giving advice. Is thing 1, multiple job offers. Thing 2, get everything in written and compare. Thing 3, get some advice.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether that's an instructor, a family member, financial planner, you know, whatever that is. Get some advice, because if this is your first time negotiating a full-time job, then it's not the first time for the HR.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. This is the interviewee gets to ask the interviewer
a
question.
Okay. All right.
This is
sure.
great.
Hey,
I get to throw you a curveball now.
This is a conversation. This isn't an interview. Go ahead.
Okay. What gave you the confidence and the power to go negotiate? Other than your experience. So your experience was one thing. Let's set that aside.
Experience is one thing.
Because a lot of,
and that's an important one.
Important, but something told you,
yes, hey,
it's okay. Like you don't have to just fall in line.
Yes.
Like what gave you that?
Well, exactly what you suggested your younger self do. I literally weeded down to 3 companies I wanted to look at.
Really?
I got 3 offers from 3 companies.
Nice.
And so what gave me the confidence is that all 3 of them gave me written offers.
Yeah. Imagine had you done one.
Oh, exactly. It'd be terrifying.
You wouldn't have.
No, yeah.
There's no way you would negotiate.
There's no way you would negotiate. You're like, oh my God, you know, it's you know, the end of the semester is coming, and oh,
gotta say yes.
The career fair is already passed, and I don't have a lot of good opportunities for interviewing from here on out.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, that was the other part to the
paired with your experience.
Paired with experience.
Yeah.
Well, okay, 2 things: experience at the job I was doing.
Correct.
Multiple job offers to give me the confidence that there was other things other than the one.
Yeah.
And research. And, you know, like you got to arm yourself with knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and by that, you know, it was and I really credit Engineering Career Services, you know, for keeping and publishing all this data.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if we were to pull up Engineering Career Services, we could look up placement rate for Iowa State Connie students. And what we would find is for the last several semesters, it's been right at 95% or higher on graduation.
Yeah.
What that means is
It's amazing.
Probably everybody's hired at graduation. Maybe a couple people are still thinking about a job offer or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
Next, it does average salaries. Now, average is just that, average. It doesn't tell you, okay, who went to California and who went to Dallas and who went to Chicago. It just says average, high, and low.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what I tell students is, okay, you look at the number, you look at that average, and now you think to yourself, am I an average student? Where do I, and this is where you got to do some like hard, honest look in the mirror self-assessment. Have I done the things necessary during my college career to dictate getting an above average salary?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And for me, what I would say that looks like being involved in the student orgs, preferably with a place of leadership.
Yeah.
All right. Am I involved in things more than just the professional side? Did I do things like officer at a fraternity, or did I, captain of the boxing team? I'm going to just throw things out there.
Yeah.
Did I have life experience that puts me in that above average?
Yeah.
Or am I really the type that sits there and does what's necessary, maybe even does it well?
Yeah.
But maybe I don't go out of the way to take on any extra responsibility. This is where things like, hey, did you volunteer at the local Boys and Girls Home? I mean, here.
Yeah.
How much of a difference did volunteering for Habitat for Humanity make in Jace Christensen's professional life?
You can't quantify it.
No.
It's
Was it zero though? Was this a zero effect?
Oh no.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It kept me grounded. It kept me tied to the world. It kept me tied to my friends. Like so many people. Like I think it connects you.
Yeah.
And then it reinforces why you're being taught things in school. And then you're like, oh, like this is. I could go work for Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
Like imagine if a Habitat for Humanity club member says, "Hey, I want a job here." Like,
yeah,
you don't even need to show them your resume.
No, exactly. Yeah, you're like, wow. It's like all these other relationships that are coming into play. But here, as an interviewer, let's say I'm interviewing a young Jace Christensen, and I'm interviewing someone else. And it's like, hey, Jace, tell me about, what do you do? Oh, by the way, I do Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
I'm president in AGC. I'm doing all these things. Or I've got a student there that's like, I got a 3.5 GPA.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here going, and anything else you want to talk about? Like, well, play a lot of video games, and what is that saying is that even if, let's just say they got a 3.9 GPA.
Mm-hmm.
Really outstanding GPA, and had nothing to go along with it. Where would that person fall on someone's hiring scale? It's like you're slipping.
Mm-hmm.
You're really slipping.
Yeah.
I'm going to use an example of I had two students. It was after you graduated. Think like what year did you graduate?
14.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, this was before you graduated because this was in the big recession.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tracking.
Jobs tight. Jobs are tight. Not everybody's getting job offers. Market was tight. And I had a student come into me, and he had a really good GPA, really good, like 3.5.
Sure.
3.5 to 3.6.
Yeah. Nothing
to sneeze at. And however, he was not getting any job offers, and he was he was just frustrated by the whole process.
Sure.
He's like, hey, Mr. Perkins, I know this guy and this guy and this guy all got jobs before me, and I know I got a better GPA than what's going on. That particular year, same year, I had a guy with a 2.01 graduate. However, his 2.01, he worked his ass off for this. I mean, like he was the type of student you just cringed when he was in your class because every office hour and after every class he'd be there asking questions and I need help on this, and I need help on this, and I need help on this. And you get to the exams and you'd feel guilty grading them because you'd feel responsible. You're like, oh my Lord, I know we went over this. I know he knows this, but he's missing this and this and this. And literally 2.01 is because of professors like me giving him the benefit of the doubt to let him get going.
Yeah.
However, said student applies for a job, and I get a phone call, and he's like, "Hey, are you Brad Perkins?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And I'm like, "Well, this is so and so with the DOT. I've got a resume here. I've got a student that listed you as a reference."
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right, yeah." I'm like, "Let me talk to you about him." And I said, "Now, hold on, before we go any further, I'm his advisor, and I know you've got his transcript." And it's probably not awesome. And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, okay. I just want to say something.
Yeah.
I said, if you were calling me to ask, yeah, we've got this job designing turbines for jets for Boeing, or we're designing the newest, the newest engine for Dodge or something. I said, I don't know if I could recommend him for those jobs, but if you want a hardworking guy that will bust his ass every day, as honest as the day is long, because I know he's not cheating. Because if he was cheating, he'd be doing way better.
Yeah, he'd have a 3, 6.5.
Yeah, I'm like, or at least a 3. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be 2.01. I said, this guy is going to bust his ass every day. He's going to be as honest as the day is long. But yeah, he's probably not designing the next turbine engine. And he's so funny. I'll always remember this. He goes, "You did hear me say I was with the DOT, didn't you?" He's like, "We're the DOT, man. I don't need anybody to design turbine engines. I need somebody to show up. I need somebody that's reliable. I need somebody that's honest."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, I think you got the right guy."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, that's kind of what we thought."
That's fun.
He's like, I think that's what we thought. We just wanted someone that's seen him year after year and can attest to it. Well, that kid in the, I say kid, didn't we agree we weren't going to call him kids? Student.
Young adult.
Young adult. That young student got a job before the 3.5 kid.
Wow.
Student. And then so the 3.5 student is in my office pissed. He's like, "Oh, I know, this and that." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "I got a question." I hold up his resume, right? I go, "Here's a question. Tell me in your heart of hearts, is this the best that you could have done here at Iowa State? GPA-wise and everything?" He's like, "Well, no, it's not, but he goes, "But it's still good, right? It's good enough." I'm like, "Nobody's hiring you for good enough." Like, if you think, this actually brings me to something that you told me once in the lab, I'm going to get to in a second. I go,
"You remember that far back?"
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember back, to 15 years ago. That's the problem with getting old, right? But I said, if you think you're the only one that realizes you could have done better, you are snowing yourself. Everybody looks at this, they meet you, they listen to you, they listen to your activities, which you took no leadership in ever. You're an AGC member, fraternity member, you're in these things, never took any leadership role, you never pushed yourself. We look at your GPA and you're like, "Yep, never pushed yourself." If you don't think everybody sees that, you are fooling yourself. It's like, oh, I didn't realize other people could see that. And that brings me to the quote from you from lab. You remember like about week 2 of being in my 241 lab?
No.
Oh, come on. I know you remember this.
I was feisty. I always pushed back.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I probably said, "Why do we need to do this?"
Yeah, what you said is, here's what you said. You're like, "Hey, Mr. Perkins, is it always this obvious?" And I was like, is what always this obvious? He goes, "We've only been in this class like 3 weeks, and I could swear I already know who's trying and who's not."
Oh, as a TA.
As a TA.
Yeah.
Yes. You remember that? You remember that discussion?
Oh, vividly now.
Yeah.
I thought student. Student.
No, not as a student.
As a TA.
As a student, you're a brat.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah, no, as a TA, it was amazing. I grew up a lot in a half a semester.
Actually, you did. No, that is.
But it was interesting.
It is when you're on the other side of the classroom.
You can see it.
Oh, my Lord.
Clear as day.
Clear as day. You asked me, is it always this obvious who's trying and who's not? And I said, yes.
Well, and it's not even, I don't care if you're smarter or not smart. Like, it's not intellect or like skill. It's effort.
Effort.
And passion.
Effort and passion.
You don't have to be the smartest cookie. You don't need a 4.0. If you bust your butt for a 3.1 and you worked tirelessly and like put effort and like, I get it.
Well, do you remember what you said next after I said, yes, it's always this obvious?
No.
Oh, you looked at me and you're like, oh, damn, I really should have tried harder in a couple classes, I guess. I thought I was doing good enough.
There's no way I said that.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Oh, you don't think so? I guarantee you did. I guarantee you did. You just don't want to admit it.
There was probably a few classes I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was.
There was.
Yeah.
To be fair.
No, well, there always is. And that's part of the learning experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, that's actually why being a TA in a class like that for an undergrad is such a valuable learning experience.
Oh, yeah. That would be the other, I mean, hearing you say that, like, to my younger self, try everything.
Oh, yeah.
Try, within reason. That won't get you in trouble, like, won't hurt anyone. That's legal. Like,
yeah, that's legal.
Like, just
good caveat.
Experience college, experience internships. I remember I did an internship with an owner. Mm-hmm. I did an internship with a GC and a design firm.
Yeah,
because I had no clue what I wanted.
Well, and here's the thing: the ones that do think they know what they want, they're probably wrong. In a decent percentage. I'm not saying everybody. I'm not saying.
Well, they go to work there and then they leave 3 years later.
Yeah. And they're like, oh man, that's not quite what I thought, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's actually just fine. Getting some experience and learning. Yes, I like this. No, I don't like that. Ooh, I want to try something else.
So valuable. And like the TA, like I hated grading papers.
Oh, that's why I have TAs.
I still hate it. Like I just don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But like I have friends from that class. Like colleagues, like business colleagues.
Yeah, business colleagues.
And they say, "Hey, I trust Jace because he was this."
Oh yeah,
isn't that cool?
That is actually awesome. It's funny, and this is something that I tell students in every 241 class. I got like the same opening spiel, and they still look at me and think I'm, probably think, oh, there's no way that's true. But I'm like, you don't even understand. Your professional reputation starts now. It's already started.
Yeah.
And there's people in this room, and I'm talking about the 241 classroom. Yeah. There are people here that you may very well interact with for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It'll come up again and again and again.
So funny how it happens.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. And that is something I think that is, I mean, we highlight, but you can't really understand this as that 20-something.
Yeah.
But you do understand it more at 30 and 40 and even 50, where it's like, wow, those experiences from, this common shared experience that we have here in Connie is just, it just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And could be for better or worse, it will still come up.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, like, here's a question. Do you remember, students from that class that you would never hire now for a job?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, of course you
know exactly the ones.
You know exactly. You know exactly who it is. And you probably the other way, you're like, if I ever got a chance to hire this person.
In a heartbeat.
Like, heartbeat. Or refer them to someone else for a job.
Yeah.
And in our industry, that's the gold standard is when someone refers you to someone that they know.
Yeah.
Like this is
a million %.
Yeah, this is the Tom Foldis and I were just talking about this, which is funny because I refer you to him and he hires you, and the whole thing.
Yeah,
that is the gold standard in a world of I'm gonna stalk him on social media and do all this stuff. All that stuff really doesn't matter a whit compared to a personal reference from someone else.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Okay, yeah.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Let's pause. And we'll hit it hard for 20 minutes.
All right,
after.
Let's do that.
Is that good?
Yep. All right, hold on. I'm gonna hold up my hand. Yeah, pause.
This is fun.
Yeah.
If I could make the money that Joe Rogan makes or whoever those guys make, I would do this all day.
I would too. I'm finding it here. I'll show you where it's at. All right. Okay.
This is fun.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. I think this is why there's so much appeal to it.
Well, I think people, like we're humans, right? Like we're not that far off each other.
soon as I'm done with him, I'm heading home. Ooh, I will. I'll do that. All right. Let me know if you need anything on the way home. All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Bye. All right. So here, before we get rolling again, we probably should actually talk some financial shit.
That's fine.
Which I don't care. We don't have to at all.
Yeah, it's probably easier if we don't.
Okay.
No, I mean, as in, they're like I submitted this, like, oh, that's blanket advice. So I had to like edit it out and stuff. They just don't want me like saying, don't go out and buy a Land Rover. Like I can't say that. You can, I can't.
Okay. All right. Well, but actually here, this whole thing, I think it's actually very good.
Yeah.
About hiring and getting hired, and like what does it take to make you look from an employer's perspective? This whole discussion of getting involved and that type of thing, I think that's very 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 good discussion.
Yeah, wherever you want to go, I'm in. Okay. I'll give you fun fact. I'm hiring right now for staff.
Ooh,
and so I'm on the other end of it. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm looking at people and I'm like, oh, what am I looking for?
That's a good question. Should we ask that one?
Sure. Okay.
Hold on a second. All right, so I'm going to start again, right, so that we can pick back up. All right, so question that I have is someone, so now you're no longer in that new grad, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah. It's because you're bald and stuff. No, just kidding. But as an employer is looking for that student to hire, this new graduate, what are like some of the timeless things that if we were to tell the 21-year-old or 22-year-old versions of ourselves, man, these are the things that a company, any company, is going to be looking for. Yeah. What would those things be that we would tell our younger selves?
Yeah. So I'm hiring for staff right now, which is exciting. So they're going to work for me as a support staff. And I even told them in the interview, like, the one was, hey, I'm open. I'm just open. And open is good. Open to learning, open to growing. I want to know, like me as the hirer, as the employer, I want to know that you care about something. Like,
not even about your work, huh? You're just you got to care about something. Something's got to motivate you. Yeah. Something's got to.
In that one, I knew he cared about his work.
Yeah.
It was evident. But like care about a hobby, or like find people who are passionate, or like he's like just creative. Like I want to know that there's passion and you care and you show enough interest in what we do.
Yeah, okay. That
you
There's a minimum.
You can mesh the two, right? Yeah. So like I don't need you to love. I was construction and I am switching.
Right.
And people hire me as their financial advisor and I'm from construction. Like I had passions and I cared enough about the money side of it to blend them together.
Okay.
So when I'm hiring someone, I just want them to care enough, preferably a lot, like be passionate.
Yeah.
And then we can get the material figured out.
Okay. So what do you think? Okay, so let's go back to that. Let's give some advice to that 20-something.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at their first job offer. They're like, okay, I got this much salary. I've figured out the whole math that I was talking about. I know what my fixed loss is or loss, I shouldn't say loss. My fixed debt is that I've got to be paying on student loans and stuff. And then now I'm ready to like, how would you explain to the student like what is an employee stock option plan a good thing or a not good thing? Do you have and maybe as a financial planner, you're like, we don't deal with ESOPs.
Yeah.
Right. Which is awesome. Then you have no advice to give. What does Jace think about?
Yeah.
What
can we start with the easy one, the layup?
No, please.
So, what most people will find is a 401k. So,
okay.
Employer sponsored plan it's a government tax code, 401k. And basically, you contribute money out of your salary, out of your paycheck. You contribute some, and then they typically match a percentage.
Okay.
Goes into this account.
And explain this. So this is money that above your salary, that matching fund.
Yep.
That the employer is saying, if you will put this much of your salary away, we will give you an additional, what's a good range? 3%? 6%?
Yeah, call it 3. So,
yeah.
So hey, young adult aspiring leader, here, if you save 3% into this 401k platform, this program, we will match above your, let's say your base is 70,000. We will match 3% and put it in there for you.
Okay. Now notice for everyone, that is money that you were not going to get otherwise.
Bingo.
Okay. And that is why if you don't max out your 401k contribution, you are just losing money. Although I've heard over the years, I've heard some really weird.
But here's the kicker.
Yeah.
There's stipulations. Max, and max. There's two maxes.
There's two maxes. Help me out here.
And again, consult your financial representative.
Of course.
in your tax account. You can put up to, for someone under the age of 50, $23,500 into a 401k. The max of your match is maybe just 3%. Those could be two different numbers. Okay. So when people think they're maxing it out, oh, I'm doing all I can, you can actually do more.
That is a very good point. And you know what? I will firmly put myself into that category. If I was to rewind the clock back to my just graduating Iowa State, I did the max match.
Yeah.
Not even realizing that there was other options that I could put more in. And I really should have. I really should have.
It's again, it's just good common things that there is no 401k class in high school or college.
Oh God, no!
Right?
God, no.
There's no. Hey, how to file your taxes in high school or college? Right?
No, there's not.
So
go ahead.
So the ESOP, completely different program. I can speak at a high level of it.
Okay.
Employee stock ownership plan. Pros and cons with everything.
Oh, and there's a lot. Okay, because I've seen some of the cons. All right, you go ahead. You go ahead first.
Pros and cons to everything, right? 401k, it's written.
You're investing in the stock market. Let me make this clear.
Sure.
Is that like money that a student, or I'm sorry, not student anymore, a graduate would be from their full-time job, they contribute money to a 401k. Usually, not always, but usually, there's probably some mutual funds that are part of that 401k that you can choose from.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, like Vanguard has funds, and I mean, I'm not a big fund guy, but just as an example, there's all sorts of funds that are like professionals that manage these funds, and you as the investor put money into it, and ideally, not always, but ideally, if everything is going okay in the stock market, those are going to grow in value. You don't really cash that in until you cash it out. But the value of those funds should appreciate usually. And in general, over any very, very long period of time, usually the United States stock market has gone up. That's not always true. You can put money into a 401k and there's no guarantee it's going to make anything. Let's look at 2008 to 2009. It's like, values went, took a nosedive. So you could be putting money in there, and the very next month it's worth less.
Yep.
Okay. So those are always options with any investment. If you ever think, oh, this is a guaranteed thing, you're wrong. There isn't. You can't even say putting it in your mattress is a guaranteed thing.
Yeah, we stay away from guarantees.
Exactly. There are no guarantees in anything. Let's just throw that.
So let's just say ESOP versus 401k.
Okay, there we go.
Like 401ks, on the whole, it feels a little easier to digest for the average student.
Right.
Most people have that. I've seen construction companies lean towards these ESOP programs. Pros and cons.
ESOP being employee stock ownership plan. So we're no longer investing money into the stock market, if you will. We are getting company stock as part of Well, as part of either a bonus or compensation or something. In other words, now, a lot of times companies are like, hey, this is a good deal. You're an owner at the company you work for. And I've actually seen two really, 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 really bad examples of where that's not a good deal. All right. I will not get into terrible specifics. But let's just say one, for an example, one of them, I'll remember this. I was a young engineer, and it was my first real job out of college. Not my first real job ever. I was in the United States Navy. However, the Navy did not offer you ownership. I'm just saying, I didn't own anything of the boat I was on. So, but the company did. And here's the thing. And what they did is they flipped ownership styles. They used to be a partnership, one of the last big partnerships. So they did away with partnerships and they went to employee stock ownership. But here's the kicker, and I want everyone to listen to this. So instead of their big plan, when they switched this, they're like, you know what? Instead of putting money in your 401k, which you can still do as an employee, you can still do however much you want. However, we are not going to match 3% anymore. What we're going to do is give you the equivalent amount of that in company stock. All right. And they were like, this is a really great deal. You'll be an owner. You'll be an owner. You'll be an owner. Because at this particular company, being a partner was like being a made person in the mafia kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It was a big deal. It was a big deal. It required a lot of personal investment. Well, when they went to employee stock ownership, they're like, all right, we're going to give you stock instead of that 3%. Now, here's the thing. And I'm not a financial wizard, but at that time I was like, I do understand like interest rates and stuff, right? So I'm like, I remember the rollout of this, and the department head was explaining this exciting new program, and I was like, I have a question. It looks like if we look at the last 2 years of financials, that our company had a 1% profit. And well, one of them was like 1.5, and the other one was like 0.7%. And I was like, so I'm putting this 3% into a company that is, shall we say, maybe not as profitable as some of the other options?
Yeah, like when you come across something you don't know, ask more questions.
Yeah, so I did. So I did.
Ask more questions, compare, contrast, like know what it is.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh my gosh, I love that atmosphere. And other people are like, no, that's not for me. So it's a different, like they're completely different structures.
Yeah.
Right? Private versus public universities. Completely different structures.
Oh, completely
right?
different.
Like anything you do is different.
There's no perfect option. There's just choices between imperfect alternatives.
Yeah.
And so I was asking the question to my apartment chair. I'm like, I'm just right out of college. So this is where I'm investing. And I'm like, I'm not sure I feel awesome about this. And this is when I started to get the whole, this doesn't feel good, is when I'll always remember this, when he's like, yeah, but at least you're going to be owning part of the business you're working at. And I'm like, doesn't that feel like putting a lot of my eggs in one basket financially? I mean, I was like, because they were also wanting us to elect to buy more stock as well, and I'm like, this really feels like a way to lower the company's outlays. Because instead of putting dollars into my 401k, they're giving me stock that they determined the value of, because it wasn't publicly traded. Yeah, and I'm like, the hard way, I'm like, I don't know if I feel terribly awesome about this. And I was shocked at how many engineers that, that were like allegedly good at math, that were like, well, I had a coworker, she literally said, well, I just look at that matching fund as free money. So, this is better. Like, oh wow. money isn't free. And, this is, if I could get that 3% somewhere else at a different firm, but I'm not getting it here. And what they are giving me is stock in a company that I can't publicly trade, that the value of that company is what they say it is when they evaluate it, because it's not publicly traded. So I'm like, I don't know if I feel really awesome about that. So here, what my point here is that for students that are leaving here and they are analyzing what company to go work with, ownership structure matters greatly.
Oh,
Ask the questions. Is this publicly or privately traded? How am I being compensated? Like if there's a employee stock ownership plan, how's the value determined?
Yeah.
How do we know what it's worth?
Or questions ask, what's my career path?
What's my career path?
What? Who dictates my bonus?
Oh,
is that a person? Is it two? Is it a group? Is it group? Is it how I perform, or is it how the company does?
Here's one. That has to do with this bonus thing. Is my bonus dependent upon whether or not I turn around and buy stock? I worked at a company like that once, where they're like, "Hey, good job for all that work this last year. Here is a $10,000 bonus, and now that you're a stockholder, we would like to sell you $12,000 of stock." And it's like, I'm like, what if I say no? And they're like, well, then you probably won't get as big of a bonus next year, because we really want to invest in the people that are invested into the company, and I was like, oh, wow, that's, let me think on that. Let me get back to you on that. All I'm saying is here, do your homework.
Yeah.
The whole thing of being, research is essentially being well armed.
Yeah.
Do the research, figure out what's going on and what's up. How's the company owned and how are they giving out that stuff?
Or just use the last 4 years of education and training to problem solve.
Yeah. That's
create a hypothesis, problem solve, deduce,
see if you're right,
run some calcs,
right? Yeah.
Figure it out.
Figure it out, and maybe get some help along the way. All right. All right. So other advice. So everything in writing, the whole thing, know what your debt is going into it. Take a look get multiple job offers to help you sort this out, get advice. Learn all you can about that company's ownership and how things like bonuses and promotions and stuff are determined. Is it publicly, privately traded? How's it owned? How's the ownership decided? Right? Anything else that you would suggest to someone as they're leaving? As they're leaving college, I mean, not as they're leaving the company, but
I think speaking to my younger self.
Yeah.
I thought I had to be there for 30 years.
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, yeah.
And so...
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Probably stayed a little longer than what was healthy.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, that's a different... Yeah,
but in all fairness...
But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, it... yeah.
I think one of the best pieces of advice that I found myself, all right, is that I read a really good book on this when I was in college, and it really served me well. And I think what helped is coming out of the military for me was a really good wake up for, it's like, okay, now I'm in business for myself. At the end of the day, I swore the oath, uphold and defend, and now that's over.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I got to do what's right by my family. My real bosses, my wife and my kids at home, and how can I do right by them? I'm way more beholden to them than I am any paycheck or any company or any other entity. So I think what you said about, I don't think like you got to stick it out. Okay. Now, I'm not saying jump jobs willy-nilly.
Two different things. Two
different things, but also understand that your main loyalty is to yourself and your family.
Yeah, there's dedication and loyalty.
Yeah.
In a segment or at a time period, but like the underlying thing is, it doesn't have to be one way. It doesn't have to be a one-way street.
Like, well, it should not be. You know, it should not be one-way street.
Yeah.
That's a fact. But you know, that's something that I was like, okay, I am working for myself.
Yeah.
Other people may be signing my paycheck, but at the end of the day, you know, do what's right for you and your family, and don't be afraid to maybe at some point take another job opportunity. Take that. And I will say for you, you know, going the route towards financial planning, that was probably your moment. For me, that moment was taking a job in higher ed, which I was not planning on.
Yeah.
That was not on my list of things to do, really. It just kind of happened. You know, glad it did. You know, it's worked out. You know, with as far as enjoying it and that type of thing. But don't be afraid to take maybe that different career path. That's probably the thing that I would definitely tell anybody's younger self is don't be afraid. And this is true because we're Connies and we're weird. I mean, we're not normal.
You think?
Yeah. Right. We're not the normal engineer. Okay. And that's what I'm saying is by being a construction engineering student, that probably means you are not the normal, oh, I'm going to be an ME. I'm going to be a double E. Not that there's anything wrong with those majors, because there is not. But doing the construction engineering major is something outside of the normal. So I think a lot of our graduates are probably the type that would do something outside of the normal career path. And don't be afraid to take those opportunities is what I would say to the younger self.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. There was a part of me that I thought I would be excommunicated from the Connie community.
Oh, you actually thought that? I'm surprised. Surprised.
Loyalty runs deep. Like it.
Well,
I mean, so, but you know, I wasn't waking up every day believing that, or like it just, you know, you want to be in a community. You want to be respected by your peers. You know, like we went to school for 5 years together. Like there was a part of me that was like, oh, is this? But I welcome with open arms, and people love hearing the story. Like the amount of times I've told that story of like how I got from A to B, people love it.
I'm sure.
They just like, how'd you do it? And they're like, oh, I wish I would have done it. Or I wish I would like, oh yeah, that's great. Or like, oh yeah, I couldn't do that. And I'm not better than them, and I don't like.
No, but people respect the decision.
Yeah, they respect the decision, but they love what they do, and there's a reason they're doing what they're doing. It just wasn't for me, and that like I finally came to grips with that, and that was my path, and that's their path, and we can still have a coffee and have fun.
Well, actually, I would. Well, we already mentioned this. How I think being the construction engineering major sets you up for a wide range of job opportunities and options in life, and that I strongly urge anybody to explore that and don't be afraid of that different kind of a job, right? But it'll definitely lead you in all sorts of crazy paths, huh?
Yeah,
All right. Well, okay. So we're almost there at the end, but I got one story for anybody that's hung around long enough here, and I'm gonna tell Jace Christensen's story. Is that you are the reason that I came the closest to getting into a physical fist fight in a staff meeting than any other student in Connie.
Oh wow, this is great.
Did I ever tell you that? I don't know.
I'm trying to remember.
Okay, so it has something to do with. I won't say what. Because I don't want to. I don't want to incriminate too much, right? But there's an award in the construction engineering department that you were up for, and there was as any good leader does. If you're a leader and after your tenure you've upset no one, you're not really a leader. You know the only way to avoid criticism in this world is to do nothing. Right?
Yeah.
So you as a construction engineering student leader were doing your student leader thing. You're in a class and had maybe a disagreement with one of the instructors about his particular teaching. And honestly, yeah, you're like, okay, yeah, I see your face. Right? You're remembering this now, aren't you?
Continue.
Okay. So you guys, you got into this disagreement with one of your instructors, and your problem was that this instructor, full professor, basically put an unprepared graduate student as the instructor, and everyone in the class is looking to you to do something about it. Because you're the AGC president. They're looking to you to say something, and yes, you did say something, right? Remember what you said about yourself as a student being a little bit.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Have it changed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm not saying that. I don't know. I wasn't in the conversation, so I don't know if a young Jace Christensen was completely professional in this discussion or not. I'm just going to say I don't know.
Who's to know?
Who's to know? I wasn't there. But what was unprofessional is the response that this particular professor had. And so we're having this discussion about some award, and and the subject of someone had nominated you for this award, and I agreed with it, and this particular instructor just goes off on the whole thing. Oh, this kid, he's unprofessional. He questioned me on this and this and this, and after listening to this for a while, I just had enough. And I'm like, you know what? What was unprofessional was putting that unprepared graduate student as the instructor. You know what was unprofessional is us abdicating our role as the instructors and not in this 400 level class giving them the value that the students have paid for. We should go back and apologize to every one of them and refund their money for that class. Oh, did not like that. Oh, it was getting contentious. Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, it was coming to blows, and I'm literally like, I am way too old for this crap, right? But then I thought to myself, I could make an exception just once. Fortunately, it did not come to blows, and none of us old folks actually threw down, but man, it was close.
Thanks for that, by the way. I didn't know that. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, you probably didn't know any of that, any of that side of the story, but it was it was pretty close. It was pretty close. All right. Well, let's see here. I think we're about good with our discussion here, right? I sure appreciate you coming by and having a discussion with me. We're gonna give me a few weeks to get this edited and posted online, and maybe some other time we'll have you back for a different discussion.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And this is going to wrap up another episode of Office Hours Podcast with Professor Brad Perkins.